What's up, guys? It's Corey from Lion Dads with another video for you. Today I want to talk to you about something that I think a lot of us can work on, something lots of us do, and that's saying the F word. Now, before you go and roll your eyes, you guys need to hear me out. Saying the F word is a bad habit that I think leads to a lot of other bad habits and bad choices in our lives. And I know it's a free country and we're all adults and we can say what we want. But listen, we can be better. I just want to explain why I don't want you to say this word, which is, of course, foodie. I got you there, right? I really don't care if you say that other F word. God knows I say it on here all the time, probably. But a small piece of advice, if you do say it around your kids, you can be assured that they're saying it in other places. But I digress. So a lot of us are in the habit of calling ourselves a foodie or foodies. It's like a badge of honor, for a lot of people, and they proudly proclaim that they are foodies. They use it as a way to show that, they enjoy the finer things in life, and that it's like a way to show off their class or sophistication. It shows other people that you're kind of like an expert in fine dining, and like you only accept the best food when you go eat, and it has to meet a certain standard. And I used to be this way. As someone who grew up eating a lot of delicious food, I've said on here before, my stepmother's a good cook. My hometown has all these great options to go eat in, especially for like Mexican cuisine. And I kind of developed this foodie mindset, or whatever you want to call it. And I learned to enjoy good food really young. And this led to a trap that lots of us get into. And this mindset led me to a path that created a lot of bad habits in my life and caused a lot of problems that I carried with me. And eventually, those problems ended up leading me to adopting this new way of eating that I'm on now, that I talked about on here a few years ago, And as a self-proclaimed foodie, I wanted to eat only the most palatable foods that were available. I wanted and expected every meal to be an experience. And I always looked forward to the next delicious meal that was coming, the next awesome palatable thing that I would consume, right? And what you're doing with this mentality is using food for entertainment. You're making all of your meals an event and not something that's just part of your daily routine and something that's necessary for survival, right? You're looking to food for the taste and getting this cheap dopamine hit from the so-called experience of it. And so that's what I encourage people to do, is like to change their mindset, change their relationship with food. We've kind of entered this era where eating for nutrition, for sustenance has become an afterthought. And that's why we're seeing so many people out there that are obese, unhealthy, in pain, basically having all these problems, right? I mean, some of you may be experiencing some of the same stuff. And look, I know eating's a cultural thing oftentimes for a lot of us, and I'm not, trying to be insensitive to that. I know that lots of us eat together as a family. We have our favorite restaurants we love taking our kids to. We love bonding with like our friends or colleagues over meals and stuff. Lots of business gets done that way, and so on and so forth. And I mean, think about it. How often do you tell a friend like, we've got to go try out this restaurant. You're going to love it. And then they do. And then they tell everybody that you showed them this place. And like, dude, what a connoisseur this guy is. Or like you get some kind of like points from it or something, right? Like someone's keeping some kind of social score and you just upped yourself basically based on how good you are at recommendations for restaurants and good food and stuff. Like for example, I remember a few years ago, my boss at the time, who lives out of state in a different, part of the country, came out to our site here and asked me for a dinner recommendation. And I knew just the place to take them. It has all this awesome, delicious food and great desserts and this long ass alcohol menu. And they all love the place, and people talked about how great of an experience it was, and they kept thanking me and stuff, and it felt good. I'm not going to lie. I put a lot of pride in them trusting me with providing them with that experience, and I was proud of the fact that I came through on it. But the problem is when we eat with this mindset, we're often not eating with our nutrition in mind. You don't take your friends or your coworkers somewhere and be like, oh, dude, the food here is so good for you. The amount of nutrition is going to blow you away. They'd think you're nuts or that you're like a lame ass or something. But that's kind of how we've ended up in the situation that we're in as a society and as a culture or whatever. And am I sitting here telling you that you can never ever suggest food for people again? No, absolutely not. I live in the same world you guys do. I know that's a big part of our culture, and I just try to find different ways to go about it. I don't pressure people into my way of eating or my lifestyle, and I don't trick them into eating only what I eat either. It's a personal thing, and it's a choice that each person has to make for themselves. And I just make sure that I pick a place that has options that I can be comfortable eating as well, because my goals are different than a lot of other people, and my way of reaching those goals is different from a lot of people. So like when I go out and I'm recommending a place, I always try to make like a steakhouse my go-to. So I know there's a lot of options there for me, and there will likely be options that everybody I'm with will enjoy. So like I said, I'm not here to push people to my way of eating. I'm just helping people out if they want it. So, I definitely believe that people are free to make their own choices. And if they enjoy food, that's all well and good. Live your life. And if you need to enjoy eating food as a hobby to live your life, then, anyone's free to do that. I used to live the same way. I used to live meal to meal like a lot of people. I was always thinking ahead to what next delicious thing was that I was going to eat, and that I think was my biggest problem. I was using food for entertainment purposes to get something good to fill the gaps in my life. And what I realize now, almost 40 years later, is that lifestyle was putting those holes in my life to begin with. It's crazy to me how everything just kind of starts falling into place once I began to eat in the way that I know for me is correct. I lost weight, so then my confidence got better. I got rid of a lot of inflammation in my joints, so I was able to participate in activities that I hadn't done in years. I got off a bunch of medications for like pain management, digestion, and some respiratory issues, right? And I saved a lot of time and mental energy thinking about or like planning my next meals. So just a few short years ago, I couldn't imagine my life without delicious meals. Like I swear, man, when I was in the Air Force, when making like my list of places I wanted to go and live, like where we would go get stationed or whatever, I took the local dining into account. Like I researched that shit. It sounds stupid as hell to say out loud, absolutely ridiculous, but it's true. And now that I eat a certain way and the fun factor doesn't matter to me anymore, my life's richer for it because I don't spend any time thinking about it. I just eat the stuff that I know is good for me. And as a bonus, it tastes awesome to me anyway. And I have the confidence now and the energy to go after opportunities, and to go try new things and to put in work. And I wouldn't be starting this channel and stuff without that in my life, And if you think this sounds crazy, that you can't imagine life without delicious foods that trigger happy responses in your brain, I'm telling you, you're probably eating for the wrong reasons. If it sounds boring to you, just imagine filling your life with all kinds of new activities instead, and exploring new opportunities because you feel good and because you eat for the right reasons now. You get your diet in check and you'd be shocked how other things in your life start falling into place. It can be done. You just have to stick to it, and you'll completely rewire your mindset. Instead of looking like for that next delicious meal, you'll be looking to accomplishing that next goal, or seeking out that next opportunity. And that's the way it worked for me. And so many other people that I know who I've helped out or who have done this way of eating alongside me. And I just challenge you all to take a look at your relationship with food and make sure you're eating for the right reasons, which is ultimately your health and survival, So that's really all I have today for you guys. As always, the links and stuff to all my socials are down in the description. So just hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You guys will keep seeing my content if you do all that. And then leave a comment below for me with any questions or any ideas or whatever. So that's all I got for today. Till next time, later.